Hey guys, what's going on? Retire on dividends here. Back, like I promised, to give the update to the YieldMax fund, the YMAX fund, the YMAG fund, and ULTY fund. So they're going to declare this week, right? They're going to declare, if you look on this calendar, it says May 14th. To date is Sunday, May 12th. So this will be on Tuesday where they'll declare how much they're going to distribute to their shareholders. So basically, what did I do? Beforehand, well, for the May 24th tab we talked about last week, but I'll reiterate, on ex-dividend date, or as of, the holdings prior to the ex-dividend date, I pulled those from YMAX and from YMAG. So I could see how many shares they own of TSLY, Aptly, etc., right? So then what I do, I just plugged it into a spreadsheet and I waited, right? And then, obviously last week I took the outstanding shares. First I took how much each fund paid, and then I multiplied that by the outstanding shares that they held. So you can see in column D, that's the payment that they received for every single fund, all right? The percentage next to it is how much of that payment makes up the total payment, if that makes sense. And then obviously, they calculated to a total payment down below. So, YMAX made a total payment of 5.2 million and YMAG made a total payment of 1.5. All right. And that didn't change. So that was going to be the same because basically they're going to get what they're paid, on payment day based on what they owned, prior to ex-dividend date. So what changes from here? Obviously, the amount of outstanding shares held up until the declaration date. So I was doing an estimate of last week in the previous video. And again, even this video, I'll have to do an estimate of 1 day. So if we look here, let's see how that came out. So outstanding shares, what did I do? I went to the website, which is over here, and I pulled their latest holdings. And this is YMAX, by the way. YMAX shows, 6,550,000 outstanding shares. All right. So that's as of the close on Friday. All right. So, clearly Monday they could buy, they could buy more shares, and actually Tuesday they could buy more shares because, right, ex-dividend date is, okay, yeah, ex-date is the 15th, and the 15th, yeah, okay, so they have 2 days. Actually, I just found something. I need to correct something. So they have 2 days. You have 2 days to buy into these funds in order to qualify for the distribution. So I may have to update my cushion. All right. So if I go down here, let's take a look at this again. So from last month, if we look at YMAX, column D, D35, D36, last month, they had 4.9 million outstanding shares. As of May 13th, 6.5 million. So that's an increase of 1.6 million in 31 days, which is an increase of 32%, which is an increase per day of 1.06%. So dec date I put in here is May 14th, okay? So I'm going to have to add, I guess, another day, right, up, because we need to count X date as the full day. So we need to put May 15th. So it gives them 2 days. We need to cover the 2-day cushion, okay? This formula should just pull from that cell. I know I got the year wrong. Hold on. Okay, so that's better. I don't even know what the estimate is now, but basically I did that because there's actually 2 trading days, Monday, and then and then declaration date that you have to buy into the fund. So that means there's possible that the outstanding shares could increase. Since it's an increase of 1% a day, it's going to increase by 2.13% a day, approximately for YMAX, and then 2.15% per day, approximately for YMAG. All right, so now let's see what that looks like. We scroll up nice and slowly. Don't want to go crazy here. All right, so let's get the payment and all that stuff in one picture. All right, so here we are. All right, so again, outstanding shares for YMAX was 6.5 million, okay? If you take that number, that's 80 cents per share. That's a 47% yield. However, we have to increase the outstanding shares by 2%, as we mentioned, which is an additional 139,430 shares, which would make it about 6.6 million outstanding shares, which would pay 79 cents per share for YMAX. That's still, look at that yield, 46%. Are you kidding me? I mean, I know Misty, this is their first month, but this is a insane number, right? This is a massive number. Oh man, even when I did this yesterday, I know it was a little higher because I had a little different cushion, but you know, I'm like second guessing myself that this estimate is a little high. And it could be, you know, they don't have to pay the 79 cents. They could pay less. They could pay more, but I just feel like this is high. However, that is the estimate. So the estimate for YMAX is 79 cents, which is a 46% yield based on the current price. All right, how about YMAG? YMAG had a total payment of, as you see, 1.5 million. If you look on the right, 1.598591. Outstanding shares, 2.5 million, which comes to 64 cents per share. However, we have to add the 2% cushion, which is an additional 53,763 shares. And that's, you know, outstanding shares would be then 2.5 million, 2.553 at least. And the payment based on that, you know, again, they both went down a penny, which is not crazy. But the payment based on that would be 63 cents per share or a 37% yield. Outstanding, man. Both of these. Again, seeing YMAX over at 40% yield makes me so happy because me personally, my goal is to yield 40% and stay capital flat. YMAX seems to be the fund that can stay capital flat and yield you 40%, which is awesome. Both of them are around $20. Still, again, this should be a formula. I think it's a formula, yeah. So, and they launched around $20. So that's pretty awesome. So if you look, okay, YMAX 79 cents. Let's see how that compares to the prior payment. The prior payment was 63 cents. So look at that. That would be a huge jump in payment. And then YMAG, they're looking at 63 cents. Let's take a look. All right. It's in line. So why is YMAX so much bigger? Well, YMAG is not going to change unless the Magnificent Seven changes, right? YMAX can change as new funds come in. So right now, Misty is the new fund. Misty, you see it on the bottom, they're 9.27% of the payment. They weren't here last month. So welcome, Misty. You're coming with a bang. And then guess who else is going to join the party? Bitty or whatever the heck that fund is. It's another Bitcoin-related ETF, and it's probably going to have a respectable payment. They haven't made a payment, so they're probably, you know, I don't know if they're going to be on next month or the month after. We'll have to figure that out. But either way, they're volatile, and with volatility comes a high payment. Granted, our capital could be more damaged because we have more volatile stocks in the fund. I think to be honest, I think they should get more popular, safer underlyings. They've been doing nothing but crypto, it seems, lately, but we'll see what they do. So anyway, the summary is the estimate that I have calculated, which again, this is a guesstimate, all right? I'm not saying it's right. I'm not saying it's wrong. This is just what I have based on the numbers. And by the way, I don't give a crap if I'm right or wrong. So you don't have to congratulate me if I'm right. And there's no reason to complain if I'm wrong. Because again, I'm just plugging in data based on the numbers that I have. Obviously, I could screw something up. So do not be surprised if there's a screw up here, because screw ups on my spreadsheets happen all the time. As you can see, I missed the 2-day thing. Luckily, I caught it live. Well, not live, but you know, during my recording. But this is just to give you an idea of what to expect, and myself. And obviously, I'm impressed with the YMAX. Like, this is really good. So I'm happy I chose the right one. I chose YMAX over YMAG to begin with. Well, because in my opinion, what's the point? Like, YMAG has what's in YMAX. I mean, granted, the point is, I guess, if you don't want to own some of those other shitty ones, Then you'll just have YMAG, the Magnificent Seven. But anyway, both are, pretty good numbers we got here. So let's hope it's close. Let me know what you guys think. Do you think I'm way off? Do you think I'm too high, too low, or do you think I'm right on the money? And if you think I'm on the money, are you happy with these numbers? I assume you're just as happy as me with YMAX. But again, they could always pay less. All right, they could always pay less. Even if these numbers make sense and they're exact and they match what they're seeing, they could always pay less or higher. All right, let's look at ULTY. So real quick on ULTY, just so you guys know, my calculation on ULTY is based on the implied volatility average, and that's it. So this is really the guesstimate. Like, if you want a better ULTY estimate, you probably have to go to Happy Camper with Dividends. She has a YouTube channel, and she covers ULTY, like trade-wise. I don't cover the trades for ULTY, so I have no idea what they're going to pay. I just keep it simple. All right, so real quick, I want to show you guys. This is ULTY. These are the holdings, but look at it. They own a firm. They're owning the underlying again, but there's no calls. There's no calls for a firm. There's no calls for Beyond, Celsius, Canopy, CleanSpark, Coinbase. But if you go to GigaCloud, okay, they have calls. They own 93,800 shares. They have 938 contracts selling calls. Okay, that's good, right? Expires, May 17th? Yeah, makes sense. And then they got Janix. All right, they own that. They're selling calls. Not on GameStop, though. Why not? What are they doing? I don't know. They must have made a lot of changes recently, buying and selling. So maybe they just bought these so they didn't get a chance to sell calls. I don't know. And then here's Root. Root has calls, but look at these others. They don't. Lyft doesn't. Marathon doesn't. Like, why don't they have calls on all the funds? I don't know. It's something to keep an eye out. I'm not going to harp on that too much, but... All right, so those are the funds. Here's the weightings, and then I have obviously the ticker, and then their implied volatility, and then you can see the underlying name, right here. So obviously, Beyond, I believe, is that Bed Bath? I don't even know, but Celsius, Canopy, CleanSpark, who's bringing in the high IV? Canopy has 132% implied volatility. That is ridiculous. I don't even know what they are, but clearly super high risk there. Oh, look at the underlying price, $9. Yeek. Yeah. See, that's something I would not trade on my own, but they're going to do it. CleanSpark is over 113% implied volatility. GameStop, ridiculous, 181% implied volatility. Marathon, 103% implied volatility. B. Riley, 122%. Root, 106%. So that's pretty crazy. Now this one, I need to clear this so it doesn't, hopefully it doesn't affect the formula. All right, so here's the average. Here's the average. I have a formula that takes the average implied volatility for all of these numbers, okay? All of these numbers. And so basically, that's the yield. That's what I'm calculating to be the yield. So I take 90% and I multiply it by ULTY's price. ULTY's price, unfortunately, is $15.40. It's been going down. So if I multiply that by, 1540 by 90%, 90.1%, and then I divide by 12, this is the distribution, $1.16. How does that compare to the previous month? Well, the previous month was $1.41. But keep in mind, I believe the IV was actually higher at that time, and the price of ULTY was higher. So, of course, it's going to yield higher. It's going to yield a higher payment if they're paying based on, the IV, based on a higher price of ULTY. Since ULTY is only 15, the actual payment will go down. Since it's over $1, I think most of you guys would probably be happy. All right. So again, the ULTY guesstimate for the month is $1.16. I'm probably not going to be right on that. You don't have to be rocket science to figure that out. All right. Something I always do is it's good to have funds they own them outright, right? They're owning them outright. There's no synthetics here, right? Unless I'm going loony here, there's no synthetics. I mean, I could waste more of your time, go through the website, right? What happened here? View, no. We get out of there. Let me close that. So if we go here, on the YieldMax website, go to the drop down, then go to ETFs, fund of funds. Oh no, I'm sorry, Ultra ETFs, and then you pick ULTI, and then you scroll to the bottom. I'll just do the visual holdings, which hopefully even comes up. Went too far. Yeah, so even here you can see visually they're owning the stock outright, and there's no calls attached to them, right? Which is crazy. Obviously, GigaCloud does, and a few others do, but I just thought that was very unusual. How are you going to make premium if you're not selling calls? But anyway, owning the actual underlying, you hope they're near a low, and if it looks like a firm is near the low, Beyond is near the low, Canopy's near the low. When I say low, I mean 52-week low. B. Riley's near a low. Sunrun, okay, that's good. Upstart, so some of these, it's good stuff to see them near the low. So maybe they'll actually go up. You never know. These are the implied volatility is so nuts that they could go up or down drastically in one day or 1 week. It's crazy, but that's the beauty of it. We are in a super, super high risk fund. That's, it's insane. To do options on any individual one of these is insane. To do them on all of them is awesome, at least to me. You know what I mean? Because I would not trade options on them individually. Well, maybe Coinbase I would actually, but and I've done GameStop years ago, and I got my butt whooped. So I would never do that again. And then some of these others, definitely not. However, I'm okay with paying someone to do it in a basket of stocks, like doing it under multiple stocks, because the damage that one could cause you is much less severe. So, and plus, there's a lot of flexibility in this fund, because as you can see right now, they're just owning the shares. They're just sitting there owning the shares, and then they're going to sell calls when they choose, or they're going to sell these shares and then buy other shares. So there's a lot of flexibility. So I would love to meet the ULTI fund manager, to be honest. That's a guy you want to interview. See what he thinks. Like your only job is to run ULTI, and that's what Jay said. There's one employee on ULTI. Your only job is to run ULTI. What are you thinking? Like, how do you what's the deciding factor of adding or removing stocks into this? It's good stuff though. It's probably really fun to run. Clearly it's not performing that well, but not much is lately. But I don't know. So that's the update. That's the estimate. So again, quick recap. Let me scroll down. Where the heck is it? There it is. All right. So my ULTI estimate was $1.16, and my YMAX estimate was 79 cents, and my YMAG estimate was 63 cents. Okay. So they'll announce Tuesday morning, and they'll say, okay, they're going to pay this, they're going to pay that, and they'll probably do it in the morning. And then you'll have the entire day to buy into any one of these funds in order to qualify for the distribution. Because again, you have to own the underlying one trading day prior to the ex-dividend date, okay? If you sell it on ex-dividend date, yes, of course, you still qualify for the distribution. However, you got to keep in mind the price of the ETF will drop by at least the distribution price. So you're not fooling anyone. You're not gaining, money. Obviously, the ETF will move plus or minus whatever's in the underlying, whatever the underlying does. But on ex-dividend date, it will drop by the distribution amount, whatever that is. But again, stay tuned. On Tuesday, they'll declare it. I'll try to announce it, maybe on my lunch break. And, I'll compare it to what I did, and then I'll see, versus actual, see what cushion they used based on the 2 days. And that way I know for next time, right? Because I don't know, I can only guess based on the data that I have. Okay, so thank you for watching, guys. As always, not financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor. This video is for fun and entertainment. So hopefully you had fun. Hopefully you were entertained. And if you were, please hit the like button. I greatly appreciate it. These videos, I love making these videos. It's a little work to prepare it, but I love making, the estimate, especially the YMAX estimates, because you can go back and see, okay, who's making the highest payment? Like Coney, 11% of this total payment. Like Coney and Misty, they're 20% of this payment. So thank you, Coney and Misty. You guys rule. People always say, why don't you own Coney? Well, I do, and I do now. I have YMAX. Why don't you own Misty? I do now, right? I have YMAX. They're 20% of my payment. So that's pretty decent exposure there. So anyway, guys, that's all I got for today. Again, I thank you for watching. Whenever you're watching this, if it's Mother's Day, happy Mother's Day. And I will talk to you soon. All right. Have a great day. Have a great rest of your weekend, or, happy Declaration Day if you're watching it then. All right. Have a good one. Later.